Very good morning, students. Today we are going to discuss on uh, the concepts of Tower of Hanoi problem. Actually, Tower of Hanoi problem. Tower of Hanoi is a game. Actually, let us look into Tower of Hanoi problem. Tower of Hanoi problem is a game where a disk is to be moved from one source pillar to a destination pillar by using a temporary pillar. So there will be a total of 3 pillars and the disks. So let us consider S and D are the source and destination pillars, and the T is a temporary pillar, and N be the number of disks. Before solving this problem, we have to follow 2 conditions that are to be checked for each movement. Let us check the undergo with the conditions. The first condition: only one disk can be moved at one time from one pillar to a other pillar. The second condition is a larger disk cannot be placed on a smaller disk. And the third one is only the top disk of any pillar may be moved to any other pillar. So in the earlier case I have told you guys only 2 conditions, but actually we have 3 conditions to be followed in order to play this game. I hope in our childhood days we have played this game, Tower of Hanoi. So actually in this Tower of Hanoi game, we have 3 pillars. We have named it as S source pillar, D destination pillar, T is a temporary pillar. So what is actually this problem is about? It has to where the disks has to be moved from one source to a destination pillars. So from one pillar to other pillar you have to move the disk. So in order to make a movement, we have to follow certain conditions. In that, the first condition is only one disk can be moved at a time. So from one pillar to other pillars. And the second condition is a larger disk cannot be placed on a smaller disk. And the third condition is only top disk of on any pillar may be moved to any other pillar. That is only top pillar, that is a top disk on any pillar may be moved on any other pillars. So in order to play this game we need to follow these 3 conditions. So if n is equals to 1, that is the number of disks are 1, then the solution for the problem is, it's very simple. You can take that disk from the source pillar to a destination pillar. In this case no need to have a temporary pillar also. So I think this example I would like to show you with this. You could say this source, if pillar has only one disk, that is n value is 1. So in this case it is very easy, no need of having a temporary pillar also. So that has been explained it here. Step 1, move top. See, suppose n value is 1 and S to destination, that will take place. If n is equals to 2, assume disks are 2. See how you can move it. The first top pillar can be moved to a temporary pillar, and that immediately the bottom pillar which is there on the source pillar, bottom disk which is there in a source pillar, that can be placed at made a movement to a destination pillar, and immediately take the temporary disk on a temporary pillar and move it to the destination pillar. This example you could see it in the slide. See here. So for that you have steps how we have made a movement. I hope you could see this in the slides. So like that, if n value is equals to 3, see, like that it keeps on going it. See, if 3 discs are placed on a source pillar, let us take the top disc on a source pillar and place it onto the destination pillar. You could see that here, destination pillar. And next, second disc on a source pillar, take that and place it to a temporary pillar. And the next, immediately take the destination disc which is placed on a destination pillar, take it and place it onto a temporary pillar, so that which can be placed, because it is a smaller disc which can be placed on a bigger disc. Now what you have to do, you have to take a bigger disc which is there in the source pillar, take that and place it to the destination pillar. And now the smaller disc which is placed on a temporary pillar, take that to a source pillar, and immediately take the medium sized disc which is placed on a temporary, take it to the destination. And now at the last step we have left out with take the source smaller disc which is placed on a source pillar, take that and place it onto the destination pillar. So this completes complete movement of a disc which are lied on source pillar. Now we have made a movement to a destination pillars. I hope you could see the example and the steps which we have made it here. Just go through the material. Next, by observing the above examples for n is equals to 2 and n is equals to 3, we can come to a conclusion, right? We can come to a conclusion and say that the solution follows the following 3 steps procedures. What is that? Move upper n minus 1 discs from source to temp. Second step, move largest disc, the only disc remaining, from the source to a destination. Next step, move these n minus 1 discs again from top to destination. So which can be written in the function form move of n comma s comma t comma d. So that is, the first step is move n minus 1 comma s comma d comma t. Second step, move 1 comma s comma t comma d. Third step, move n minus 1 comma t comma s comma d. See, all these 3 steps which are followed with a meaning, that is, move n minus 1 comma s comma d comma t is move n minus 1 disc from source to temporary. Second, move 1 comma s comma t comma d, that is, which move 1 disc from source to destination. The third is move n minus 1 comma t comma d s comma d is nothing but move n minus 1 discs from temporary to destination pillar. The similar way, the other example we have taken it, if n is equals to 4, same procedure will be followed in solving with n is equals to 4. You could see that how disks will be moved. Move 4 comma source comma temporary comma destination. This will be the first function, and as on, so it continues till the, and all the disks which are placed on the source to a destination will be moved as it is. I hope you guys have understood the concepts of Tower of Hanoi. So now let us look at into the program. So you could see that void Tower of Hanoi, TOH, is a function name which includes 4 parameters. One is of int type, char type, another one is also char type, another one is also char type. One integer type, and all the other 3 are temporal character types. So next, main function. So as you can see that we have declared variables of a type char, source which is equals to s, temporary which is equals to t, destination which is equals to d. So one more variable I've declared it as of an int n, so which is number of disks which are placed on a source. So enter the number of disks, scanf n, printf sequences, that is the sequence we get it, and the next function call TOH of n comma source comma temp comma destinations. Close the main function, and we have written a subfunction TOH int n char source char temp char destinations. So there will be a condition. If n is greater than 0, then only control will enter into the condition, that is the block. TOH of n minus 1 comma source comma destination comma temp. Now let us print move disk %d, %c, and %c. That is, %d is indicates the disk number, okay, and %c is indicates source. One more %c is indicates destination. Once again we have called function TOH n minus 1. In this case the parameters have been replaced. In place of source, temporary; in place of destination, source; in place of temporary, we have called destinations. So at the end of the program you could get the required result. I hope you understood the problem. So next, and the last topic of this stack application is greatest common divisor. Greatest common divisor. I hope this greatest common divisor, we name it as GCD number. Hopefully you might have learnt it in your secondary education, school or college PU level, GCD. So let us move towards to a complex recursion example, that is greatest common divisor. It is also called as highest common factor, HCF also we will call. LCM and HCF we call it as, right? That is what HCF, highest common factor. Highest common factors of 2 or more than 2 numbers is the greatest number that divides each one of them exactly. See, what is this HCF? Is nothing but HCF of 2 or more than 2 numbers is the greatest number that divides each one of them exactly. See, to calculate the HCF, express each one of the given numbers as a product of prime factors, then the product of least powers of those common prime factors gives the HCF. So let us understand this HCF with an example. Let us consider this HCF of two numbers, that is 108, 108 and 288 can be calculated as 108, which is equals to 2 to the power 2 multiplied by 3 cube. Okay, 288, which is equals to 2 to the power 5 into 3 square. See, what is this? Now the least powers of this common factor is 2 to the power 2 from 108 and 3 square from 288. What we have done it, see, 108, which is equals to 2 square into 3 cube. 2 square is nothing but a 2 to the 4 multiplied by 3 cube, 27. 27 multiplied by 4, you get 108. 288, which is equals to 2 to the power 5 multiplied by 3 square. When you do this, you get 288. Now what you have to do? Now least powers of these common factors you have to take down. So while you have taken a two factors, then you have to take least one among them. So in 108, 2 square is the least one, and in 288, 3 square is the least one. So therefore HCF is equals to 2 square multiplied by 3 square, which is 4 into 9, which is equals to 36. Therefore GCD is equal to GCD of 108, 288, which is equals to 36. I hope you understood. Euclides has given an algorithm for finding the GCD or HCF, we call it as GCD of m comma n, which is equals to GCD of n comma m, that is if n greater than m. GCD of m comma n, which is equals to m if n is equals to 0. GCD of m comma n, which is equals to GCD of n comma mod of mn. Otherwise, if the two above conditions are not satisfied, then we will move with the recursively calling the GCD of m comma n. So here m and n are the two numbers for which the GCD is to be calculated. Mod of m comma n is the same as m modulo n, which means that the remainder obtained when dividing m by n. See, the first part of the definition states nothing that GCD of m comma n, which is equals to GCD of n comma m. The second part states that GCD is the first argument itself if the second argument is 0. I hope in the Euclides general form you could see that what I am explaining now. That is GCD of m comma 0, which is equals to m itself. See, remaining all cases, GCD is calculated according to m modulo n. Now let us take the same example, GCD of 288 comma 108. Why? Because GCD of m comma n, which is equals to GCD of n comma m. See, this example comes under the third definition. GCD of m comma n, which is equals to GCD of n comma mod of m comma n, where m is equals to 288, n is equals to 108. You could see that in a general form the third definition is raised. If GCD of m comma n that is GCD of n comma mod of mn otherwise. Why? Because if n is greater than m, if n is greater than m, in this case n is greater than m itself, isn't it not? That is what 108, 288 is greater than 108. So mod of m comma n, which is equals to 72. When you divide 288 comma 108, that is 288 by 108, you get a remainder as of 72. GCD of 288 comma 108 is equals to GCD of 108 comma 72. You have to do this again, recursive technique. Now m is equals to 108 and n is equals to 72. So when you do this, still m value is greater than n. So mod of m comma n, which is equals to 36. In this case, when you divide 108 by 72, you get 36 as a remainder. Therefore, GCD of 108 comma 72, which is equals to GCD of 72 comma 36. Now m is equals to 72 comma n is equals to 36. Mod of m comma n, which is equals to 0. In this case, the remainder is 0. Therefore, GCD of 72 comma 36, which is equals to GCD of 36 comma 0. So where you could observe in the result, which is in the form of second definition, that is what GCD of m comma n, if n value is 0, then it results m itself. You could see in the general form. If n value is 0, it results m. Right? Therefore, GCD of 36 comma 0, which is equals to 36. Now reverting back, we get GCD of 36 comma 0, which is equals to GCD of 72 comma 36, GCD of 108 comma 72, GCD of 288 comma 108, which is equals to 36. The steps during this process can be represented as, you could see, a program which is given in a program. The function, I have taken it as of GCD int of m int n. So there is a condition, there is a three definitions it should satisfy. One is, if n is equals to 0, return m. If else if n is greater than m, return GCD of n comma m. Else return GCD of n comma m modulus n. Close the function. Main function int m comma n, and next accept m and n, print GCD and GCD function, and this program will result highest common factor. I hope you guys have understood the concept. Thank you.